Hi there, good afternoon. You've tuned into ET now, and this is Closing Trades with me, Cheryl D'Souza. Along with me, I have Avan Dabash. Very good afternoon to you, Avan. And if you look at the markets, they're supporting you today. The shade of green. Yeah, green and bright green, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. That's where the markets are at. And I guess no complaints. We've already gained about 1% or so this week. And now broader markets holding up along with the frontliners.
Yes, absolutely. Broader markets are holding on in line with the front lines. Also, take a look at Nifty Bank, because that one also is pretty supportive in trade today. And let's take a look at a couple of stocks. If you look at the way how the Nifty picture is looking like at this point in time. So let's put the spotlight on Bharti Airtel. That stock is among the top gainer on the Nifty in today's trading session. You have Power Grid, you have Cipla, you have Bajaj Finance among the other set of gainers. While on the losing end of the market is Tata Motors, that's down by 1.3%. You have Reliance Industries also taking a bit easy. You have ITC and Tech Mahindra that are actually seeing some cuts in today's trading session. But the advanced decline ratio is still tilted in the favor of gainers. But there are a lot of companies or stocks that are making news today, isn't it, Avan?
Absolutely, a whole host of newsmakers. So let's take our viewers through just that. There's Bharti Hexacom in the spotlight, and largely on the back of the latest note that's come out from Citi. They've initiated buy with a 1400 rupee target price, saying that it's one of the attractive stocks within this space, largely on the back of a very strong growth outlook. We have, remember, recently seen the stock outperform as well, and Citi believes that the return ratios as well are superior compared to some of its peers. Their future tariff hikes could be a big trigger for the company as well, and it's a regional telecom operator with a fairly healthy balance sheet. So that's the take, and there you have it. That's the 1 month chart of a Bharti Hexacom. Meantime, we've seen all of the sugar stocks, and I think from the get-go, they've been very chirpy in trade today. The entire basket, largely on the back of the ethanol production curbs, haven't been removed. Remember, we spoke with some voices as well from the sugar space who said that while this is in consultation, it is a very positive move coming in. And there you have it, the entire basket rejoicing. And then you've got Garden Reach in the spotlight. The company has signed an MOU. This is for the supply of double-lane modular bridges, and that's kept the stock alive 4.5% as we speak. Time to connect with our guests then, and we've got Dipan Mehta joining in on the fundamentals, and on technicals as always, Kunal and Naresh. Dipan, afternoon. I'm so accustomed to saying morning, but I shall say afternoon to you, and getting a take first up as to what the outlook is on the entire sugar basket. Of course, there is some positive news, but I've noticed that most of these stocks are in pretty much a limbo up until the time that there's some incremental news that actually comes in. What's your take on sugar stocks buzzing in trade today?
Yeah, actually, it's a good morning for me over here because I'm taking this show from Brighton, UK, and it's lovely weather over here. So good morning to you from my side. And when it comes to sugar stocks, I think the numbers were extremely disappointing per se. And it's a highly volatile type of industry. But on the whole, I think medium-term prospects are good because this commitment of the government to go in for higher and higher blending of ethanol certainly is going to provide long-term stability to earnings. And there were some hiccups when it came to what feedstock could and could not be used for ethanol, but now I think that's more or less sorted. And also sugar prices have gone up. So I would be intuitively more positive on the sugar industry. Typically, after a few quarters of downbeat numbers, you do see an upswing in sugar numbers as well. And valuations are reasonable in markets like this, where investors are looking for good quality, low P stocks. This is one segment, which certainly fits that criteria.
Talking about the sugar space, then we earlier spoke to the managements of Balrampur Chini as well as Sri Renuka on the entire government move coming in, easing the sugar supply for ethanol production. Listen into what they had to say.
Decision makers that next year's crop looks to be quite good. The rain gods have been quite kind to India. So the confidence in the government is there that that's adequate stocks available. From Renuka's perspective, it definitely is bound to help the volume. As far as the Indian value is concerned, sugar as a sector is totally inflation-proof. The government has managed the sugar releases and the pricing so well that I think the Indian consumer has had it very good. So we don't expect sugar prices in the country to move up. So we expect that the minimum selling price would also be increased in due course of time, possibly before the new season kicks in. So government is seized of the matter, and the industry is also pursuing it, and our association, ISMA, is also pursuing it vigorously, and the government is also seized of the matter, because you can't keep jacking up the price of cane and not do anything about the minimum selling price. So I think we can expect that to also happen in due course of time.
Full impact of this relaxation will come only in FY26. Our capacity to produce is around 35 crores annually, out of which 5 crores can be made out of alternative feedstock other than sugarcane, which we operate normally in the off-season. 3 crores is meant for ENA production. Remaining 27 crores is for ethanol production. So any price revision which will happen subsequent to this announcement and the current FRP will be applicable on this 27 crores liter. But that 27 crores is the available capacity with us. Whether we will be doing 27 crores or less, that will depend upon the availability of feedstock, which is sugarcane in our case.
Let's get in a quick take from you then on the charts, taking a look at the broader end of the market. Prestige Estates, AU Small, those are buzzing in trade, and Garden Reach.
Well, yeah, I think the defense pack is actually a bit active. So Garden Reach, Masscount Dock, you've seen good recovery for the likes of HAL and BEL from their yesterday's swing lows. So I think in a matter of percentage points, I think these stocks have recovered by a margin of 4% to 7% broadly from the large cap towards mid caps. So I think there could be a case of a short covering rally, at least over the near term for many of these stocks. Would probably expect these stocks to climb up by at least another 2% to 4% in the next couple of days before you see some sort of selling pressure which could emerge into these pockets. The real estate pack is also a lot more active. So I was looking at the charts for Oberoi Realty, DLF, etc., and even Prestige in that matter. I think all of these stocks are getting back into a reversal or a recovery mode. So this I think should bode up quite well for the markets, because we were trading at a point where the sector specific churn was getting a lot more narrow. The markets were dependent very heavily on those key sectors like IT, FMCG, Pharma. But I think if we see this this kind of a recovery which you've seen from the last 2 days, where differentiated sectors are making a comeback, real estate, defense, potentially even banking stocks, then I would probably believe that the markets could get a lot more broad based. So looks attractive as a space, and many of these stocks, Prestige, Garden Reach, etc., are looking attractive for another 2 to 5% on the upside.
All right, so defense and real estate looking good as of now is what Kunal has to say. But on that note, we slip into a break on this edition of Closing Trades. Don't go anywhere.
Thanks for staying on with us. We just had the SBI chairman speaking exclusively to ET Now, and lots of key takeaways, but want to address the markets in the last 10 to 15 minutes or so. And we've got Chakri Lokpriya here to discuss just that. Chakri, let's get in a take from you as to what the outlook is on some of these defense stocks, given the fact that they are a buzz in today's trade. What is it that catches your eye within the sector?
Hello, good afternoon. The defense stocks, as we know, have corrected in the last month or so. The outlook remains strong, as in, the order book for these companies is never in question for the next 3 to 5 years. What was in question is the valuation and the ability to sustain the momentum of the order book, which I think the second question is easier to answer, which is the order book momentum will continue. Defense as a segment, whether you take any other companies, Lockheed Martin in the US, etc., their order book, despite being mature countries, grow very fast. So I think, I think there is a trading positional investment opportunity in, let's say, Bharat Electronics or HAL, but valuations are still rich.
Right. Niresh, coming to you then, a lot of these alco beverage stocks are actually seeing a sharp up move in today's trading session. What are the charts indicating to you? Anything that's throwing up very differently?
So a lot of stocks have been in strong uptrends and now making fresh moves. So you have a United Spirits, which is breaking out into new all-time highs. You have UBL, which has been consolidating for a long time. Is also taking a take, whether it's a Global Spirits or other names. But UBL and United Spirits have been relative underperformers compared to the whole small cap names out here. So those two look interesting for the short to medium term.
Chakri, wanted to get in your take on the entire auto basket, given that expectations are very tempered when it comes to the August auto sales numbers. Do you think you'd be approaching this space with a bit of caution?
No, I think we have to look past this last couple of months and look into as we reach into the festival season and beyond. And two-wheelers continues to be very strong. At an industry level, they're growing teen growth. And, at a company level, TVS Motors, Bajaj Auto are growing much faster. I think that trend will continue. The two-wheelers continues to be very strong. Commercial vehicles of course have not yet picked up. So it's still buy into TVS Motors and Bajaj Auto. We've been buyers of this for the last couple of years and have not gone wrong.
Let's take a look at the markets right now, because there are a couple of counters that have been losing steam over the last 15 minutes. You have Zydus Life that's seen a downtick of about 2.5% over the last 15 minutes. They've got a warning letter as well. So on back of that, take a look at Zydus Life. You have ICICI Lombard that has seen a decline of about 1.7% over the last 15 minutes or so. And also the OMCs are taking it a bit easy in trade today. Kunal, coming to you on the OMCs in particular, HPCL, BPCL, IOC, they've also had a very good run in comparison with rest of the entire PSU pack. We could say that. What's your take coming in for all of these counters now? Are you seeing a scope of consolidation after the correction that these stocks have seen?
Yeah, I think consolidation is the possible or potential trend for the OMC pack, because what we are seeing right now is a definite game change in the type of trend which we've seen for these stocks. So my sense is that OMC stocks should move up higher by a margin of at least 5% further.
All right, let's get in those BTST trades going as well from our chartists. And Naresh, what's looking good on the charts?
So we are seeing a small breakout on UPL Limited. So expecting it to follow up, stop loss at 590, target price of 615. Second is a buy on IGL, which is close to a flag breakout into new 52-week high, stop loss at 548, target price of 565.
Okay, IGL it is, target 565. And Kunal?
So in terms of the BTST trade, I will go with Dalmia Bharat as the first one, which I'll pick as a buy. The stock looking attractive for a target of 2000, stop loss at 1850. And Oberoi Realty is the other stock which is forming a base on the short-term chart, so which is the target of 1860, stop loss at 1750.
All right, Chakri, let me come to you on the Realty pack then. What's your take coming in on the real estate story altogether? Because now you're seeing some sort of cool down when you talk about the way how the real estate demand is going, isn't it?
You're absolutely right. I think, I think from here on, for the next year or so, we'll see it grow in line with GDP or slightly less than GDP, more or less, 7 to 10% kind of a thing. And so in that kind of a growth is already priced in. Inventories have come down, so which means the margin improvement that you saw, you will not see. So then what do you buy? You can still hold on to Prestige. You can still maybe buy a little bit of Shobha.
Okay, fair enough. Lots of stocks as well that are in the news in today's trading day. Prestige stays. There was a QIP where they aim to raise about 5,000 crore rupees. So checking in on that. You also had Lupin, which is on Nomura's radar. They've got a buy rating and they've revised the earnings estimates as well. Pharma has been a noteworthy sector this entire month. Chakri, do you think that defensive trade will play out?
Lupin is a case in point where the US volumes, or the volumes for the companies which are exporting, the generic volumes are kind of improving. So this will be true for all export-based companies to the US. And therefore, you will see an earnings upgrade. In the case of Lupin, you'll see a fairly decent one, probably 20-30% earnings upgrade. So that'll hold the multiple at about 25 times, which is not expensive for the stock. So you'll make probably a 10-15% over the course of the next 1 year.
We've seen a good rise in these IT counters, right? Or this week has been pretty good coming in for some of the IT stocks. What's your take about the trend going ahead for the IT pack then?
Well, still bullish on the IT stocks, and what we've seen right now. So we were looking at the YTD performance of how these large cap stocks have behaved vis-a-vis the mid cap IT names, and there's a stark differentiation. For example, the large cap IT names, Infosys, I think if I'm not wrong, is one of the top performers with I think a YTD return of more than 23-25%. followed by the likes of TCS as well as Tech Mahindra and HCL Tech. They're moving in a cluster of I think 13% to 18% broadly as a YTD return. Compare this with the mid-cap IT stocks, which means that the likes of Coforge, L&T Infotech, Mindtree Technology Services, etc. I think many of the stocks in the basket are either trading flattish, negative, or some of them are still into a recovery mode. So I would probably believe that what we are seeing right now is a first stage recovery as well as a rally for large cap IT names. The second stage generally gets followed where you see the beta moving up higher, and that's where I would probably believe that the mid cap IT stocks should outperforming. So the trend could continue. Maybe the kind of stocks which have moved up higher from the large cap IT space, those stocks may consolidate, and you might have the other stocks which will probably start to play a catch up.
All right. Meantime, Naresh, let's get in a quick chart check from you as well on some of the stocks that are under a bit of pressure in trade today. You've got a BASF India, something like an IFB Industries, V-Guard. Those are some of the mid-cap stocks. What's the view? I'm talking about today's trading day.
So most of these names, if you look at a BASF, it really had a solid run in the last say a few months, as well as a few days back it had hit some upper circuit ticks also. So we are seeing some bit of a consolidation. IFB also has gone up from roughly 1500 levels to 2000 plus levels very quickly. So some bit of a pause. So same with V-Guard has seen a 30-40% move really. So what we are seeing is some bit of a pause in names which have rallied 30-40% over the last couple of months.
Right. Chakri, let me come to you and ask about what's exactly happening in the railway space, because with the rest of the PSU counters taking it a bit easy, you have had the railway counters on the other hand actually either you have one side where you have RVNL, likes of RVNL who are banging new orders day after day, and on the other hand you've had news flows with regards to Vande Bharat, some of the cancellations on that particular orders as well. How are you viewing a railway sector right now?
You actually used the right phrase, which is, bagging new orders. That I think is the key theme for railways or defense. And, in the case of railways, we know the story. Yeah, the country needs lots and lots of orders. Government, thankfully, is willing to give out those orders. RVNL is a great example. I think the stock still looks okay. And in terms of, the various legs of growth for the railways with the metro, et cetera, all will continue. And in just a few delays or cancellation of the orders does not change the story. So still Titagarh Wagon, still RVNL are still names to buy if you can hold them long enough.
Fair enough. Meantime, let's just check in on what the frontliners are up to as we're just about to wrap up the trading day. It's 0.5% higher with names like Bajaj Finance at the forefront, Bharti Airtel, Dr. Reddy's, Sun Pharma. Cipla is actually your top gainer within the frontliners, while on the flip side, Tata Motors, Reliance Industries and ITC are under pressure. Kunal, coming to you on two large caps, ITC, you flagged that off as your chartbuster idea. So do you believe that at the current levels it merits a buy? And what's the view on Reliance Industries given all the news flow on the AGM when you're looking at it from a chart perspective?
So ITC first, I think looks attractive. In fact, the stock, I was highlighting on the chartbuster that 510 is the breakout level. The stock, failed to break out of that 510 mark, but I still believe that potentially over the next few days, you might see the stock getting back into a breakout mode of this 510 levels on the spot basis. So that's a chart which is looking attractive. My sense is that the stock, or the entire sector, which has gone through a very strong uptrend, should see more legs over the next few weeks or over the next few months. So I think that anticipation, ITC could be a good buy at current levels. Reliance becomes a special situation kind of a stock because even earlier when the stock was getting into a range, the volumes had dropped down significantly for the stock. There were erratic movements, a 50 point, 100 point jump for the stock price. But then when you try and look at this over a 1 week, 2 week kind of a time scale, there's nothing major in terms of price action which has changed for Reliance Industries. Just that 3,000 now is the new base for the stock in terms of a pivot support. So looks attractive, and potentially we may be looking at the stock upping the base from 2,900 to now 3,000 levels.
All right, so that's what is the view coming in for Reliance as well as ITC. And with that, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on the show. Thank you so much, Kunal, Naresh, as well as Chakri and Deepan for being part of the show. And as we wind down for trading session, looks like we are going to end at all-time closing high coming in for the Nifty. And we have Sneeze standing by to take us through the market wrap.
Absolutely, Cheryl. Like you said, all-time closing high coming in for the Nifty. We're comfortably above that 25,200 mark as of now. Almost 0.5% gain coming in on Nifty. Sensex also new record high coming in for both Nifty and Sensex as well. Sensex also 0.4% higher, looking comfortable above that 82,400 mark is where the Sensex is. If you take a look at the broader markets today, they have finally started lending support towards the overall markets, because mid-cap and small-cap today have finally outperformed the benchmark indices. Remember, the last couple of sessions they were under pressure, but mid-cap and small-cap doing pretty well. Mid-cap index up more than 0.6%. Small-cap index trading with gains of 0.5% in today's trade. Advance decline ratio more tilted towards the favor of the advances. So all in all, it's been a good day for us. If you take a look at what aided Nifty in today's trading session, the entire pharma pack was a buzz today. You had names like Cipla that did pretty well, Bajaj Finance, Divi's Lab, M&M, Hero Moto, Bharti Airtel, NTPC. All of these in the green from the Nifty 50 pack. However, what did not do well from the Nifty pack today was Coal India, Tech Mahindra, ITC, Reliance and Tata Motors. Reliance gained in yesterday's trading session after announcing that they will be mulling a bonus issue on September 5th. But today they've paired all of those gains coming in. Let's also take a look at some other newsmakers in today's trading session. Then, first of all, if you take a look at what sectorally what the indices did, you had Nifty Realty, that was the top gainer in today's trade, more than 2% gain coming in. Prestige was the news flow on the back of its QIP, and also Jeffrey's note on real estate looking rather optimistic. So Nifty Realty 1.7% higher for the trading day. Nifty Pharma also did pretty well, somewhere around 1.5% gain coming in for Nifty Pharma as well. Auto, IT, Metal, Bank, PSU banks, all of these in the green. However, on the flip side, you had media and FMCG. FMCG stocks were trailing a little bit today in today's trade. ITC, Dabur, HUL. These are the companies that have not done well, but well, FMCG has also made a recovery towards the green side. But that is how we are ending today's trading session. Lifetime new record high coming in, and the record close coming in fact, for the Nifty today. Fresh record high coming in for Sensex as well. 25 to 40 thereabouts is where we've ended for the Nifty.